Welcome into another episode of Profits Picks. As always, we're going to go ahead and go in order that the games go off. We'll look at a side, we'll look at a total for each game, and after that, we'll go ahead and take a look at some player props. We won't take a look at any series prices. We usually do that maybe after the first couple of games or usually when it's a new series, but game five here, we're going to go ahead and skip the series prices. So we'll start with the Boston Celtics taking on Toronto Raptors. Opening Raptors -1, and we've seen a flip of favorites. We're now seeing Celtics -1.5. Total opening 212.5, and we're now seeing it at 212. And this, I understand the line move on the total completely. They haven't seen one game in this series yet go over 207. They keep adjusting the total slightly, but it hasn't been enough. And I'm not sure that I want to look the other way. Both teams more than capable of playing defense. Toronto, a great defensive team, and Boston more than capable as well. It's just tough for me. I know Boston shot really poor last game, but even when Boston shot well, they didn't go over this total. Toronto, they're a team where they're defensive first. If they're gonna win this game, it will be with defense first. And I think the Celtics have to make some kind of adjustment. We've seen Toronto come out and switch it up on the defensive end. They'll show some man, they'll show some zone, whether it's boxing one or triangle and two. They switch it up, and it caused Boston some problems. So I trust both coaches to make those adjustments on the defensive end and make it tough on the opposing team. So for that reason, I have to continue to look towards the under. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way that I feel here. And if we're going to take a look at the side, Boston came out the first two games, looked like the clear cut best team in this series. Even the third game, they were in control. Toronto snuck and got the win at the end on the last second shot. And that may have switched momentum in this series. Toronto's looking a lot more confident. They're looking like they can disrupt what Boston wants to do. Boston had 14 turnovers last game, shot 20% from three. A lot of that was Jaylen Brown missing. He was 4 for 18 from the field. They were doing well because Kemba Walker was kind of having a field day, getting what he wanted. This last game out, he only had 7 field goal attempts. I think Boston has some things to figure out on their side. We'll see if they make those proper adjustments. But for Toronto, the longer the series goes on, the more the advantage goes to the team with the better bench. And my opinion, Toronto is the better team, full complete team with the better bench. Yes, Boston has the star players in the starting lineup, but a complete team going from starting lineup, bench, coach, I think I have to pick Toronto. And they have the momentum in this series. We know that they make adjustments. We've seen them make those adjustments. I'm pretty confident that Boston will make some adjustments too. But I just have to roll with the momentum in this one. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Toronto. Siakam getting involved. If Siakam can get involved and have a decent day, Toronto is in good shape. Um, that's the guy that they are waiting on. So we'll go that direction against the line move. We'll go Toronto plus. Right now you can get plus 1.5. And we like the total to go under the 212. And then if we take a look at some player props here, first, I look at who's going to be the guy doing the work for the Boston Celtics. Marcus Smart has had 2 good games already shooting the ball. He's not a shooter. I'm not counting on him to do it again. Jaylen Brown, not necessarily feeling it. Kemba Walker, we're not sure if he's going to shoot a lot of attempts or a little attempts. We only got 7 last game. I think it's Jason Tatum. We know he's going to get points. Rebounds, he's been very close to 10. I think you can scrape up 10 rebounds in what should be a defensive game. Maybe more misses than not. So I would look at Tatum double-double. You can get it plus money, I believe. The next one I would look at has been a guy. He's played well 3 out of the 4 games thus far. He's passed his prop 3 out of the 4 times, and that's going to be Serge Ibaka. He's been really consistent shooting the ball, uh, especially from the three. They're only asking him to hit 1.5 3 pointers again, and that is very doable. He's done it 3 out of 4 games. I would expect him to do it again here today. And OG Anunoby, he's averaging about what, a little bit over 6, close to 7 rebounds per game in this series. His rebound total is only 5.5. I have to think that he goes over. I mean, Boston not a great rebounding team as it is, and that's the way that I'll look. Those 3 props. My favorite of the 3 would probably be the Ibaka over 1.5 3 pointers. And that will be it for that game. We'll go ahead and go to the next game, which will be the Los Angeles Clippers. I hate saying that. I need to just say the Clippers. We're gonna see the Clippers taking on the Denver Nuggets. Opening clip show. What is wrong with me? Not the Lake Show. Opening Clippers minus 7.5. Currently seeing minus 9s out there. Total opening 221, and has dropped a point to 220. I know we've seen a couple of games go under, but I'm just not sure that that's the way it continues to go. Okay, I have to say first off, Jokic questionable now with the sprained wrist, and this is something that I feel a little on the fence about. Yes, Jokic he can score some points, give you some buckets, but at the same time, when you're playing through Jokic, you're playing a lot slower. So if Jokic doesn't play, maybe they play a little faster. If he does play, he's going to continue to be efficient on the offensive end. So either way, I think it's okay with the total. Denver, we saw them play some pretty good defense, but they can't hold this Clippers team down. The Clippers team just look kind of out of sync, and especially if there's no Jokic at the rim, there will be no protection there. The first game already, we saw Jokic had trouble defending the paint when he was out there. If he's not out there, Clippers are going to feast. Should see a lot of easy baskets. So either way, I will kind of lean more towards points being scored. I don't think that Denver will stop the Clippers, and Clippers may be able to slow down Denver though. That's the one thing I'm worried about. So maybe you want to look at a Clipper team total over more so. But Clippers shot 28% from the three last game. I think they do better than that here. 69% free throws. I think they shoot better than that here. Kawhi was what, 4 for 17? I think they do better than that. So the only way I would look at this total would be to bet it over the 220. And from a side perspective, Denver, hey, they answered the call. They were tired after that game 7 and game 1. They got gas. Game 2, they came out firing from the start and didn't look back. They shot, 60% or maybe a little bit more in the first quarter. Came back down to earth. Clippers played a little bit of better defense and closed the game within single digits. But we're looking at, I'm not expecting Denver to do that twice in a row. We talked about the shooting woes for the Clippers, 28% from 3, 69% from free throw, trailed by as many as 23 points in the game. They had 17 turnovers. It's just a team that was not clicking, maybe not as focused, and a Denver team that was the opposite. They were focused and they were clicking. Now looking at Denver, when they're playing competition, a 55% win team or greater, and they beat this team the last time out, they're a dog, and they have rest. They're 1-6-1 against the spread, 1-7 straight up, losing by an average of 11.5 points per game. And looking at the Clippers, when they're a favorite of less than minus 13, you have Kawhi, you have Paul George in the lineup, and you're playing a team that you lost to last time out. Last time you played them, you lost. Clippers are 8-0 against the spread. Average line was minus 7.1, and they covered by 16.31 points per game. So that's the opposite right there. When Denver sees the same team twice, Maybe it's just saying that teams adjust to them and they don't really make the necessary adjustments back. The Clippers, when they lose to a team, that's exactly what they do. They make those adjustments and they come out and punish them. Um, I think that's more of what we would likely see here today. Looking at one more, Clippers off of a loss. They are a favorite. Kawhi and PG in the lineup. That's it. 13-0 against the spread. Average line minus 8.5, covering by 12.27 points per game. So winning these games on average by 20 points. I think Denver has LA's attention. I think they bring it from start to finish. I think if you like LA, you can go first quarter, first half, full game. Um, I just don't really see. I see a team that would be focused, and when they're focused, it's tough to see Denver stopping them, especially if Jokic is out. So those are the two ways we'll look there. Clippers, and we're looking at the over. Now, if we're going to look at a couple player props, I'll say one guy that's pretty interesting to me is going to be Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris has become one of the better scoring options for LA, or at least lately. In this series, I think he's averaging, or in the playoffs, averaging 13.3 points per game. He's shooting about 4.5 3-pointers a game. He wasn't so hot in this last time out, but the first game he was. I think he can bounce back here. His point total is 11.5. I think he can surpass that. But even more so, he shoots about 4.5 3-pointers a game. I think he can hit two of them. His 3-point total is sitting at 1.5. So I would look at either one of those for Morris, his point total over or 3-point total over. I think he bounces back here. And this one for Denver, if Jokic plays, I like the Murray under 25.5 prop a decent amount. If Jokic does not play, they have no choice but to play through Jamal Murray. But at the same time, Clippers could focus more on him and hold him down. So 9 times out of 10, I look towards Jamal Murray under the 25.5 points. And then looking last but not least, Kawhi Leonard, point total sitting at 30.5. He shot 4 for 17 last game, and he's getting a little bit of different looks. Denver, they're doubling him every time he's getting near the post area, not letting him shoot the shots he's most comfortable shooting, his shots he shoots the best. So I think we see Kawhi Leonard do a little bit more distributing than scoring as long as they continue with the double team. And if that is the case, Kawhi Leonard under 30.5 points seems like a reasonable prop. So that's the way that we'll go there. And those are the only two games on the slate today. We've been hot. We'll look to keep it going. A new week, new money. Let's make it. Best of luck if you tell. Good luck on all of your action. And let's do it again tomorrow. Later, guys.